Welcome back. Just before Yami kicks off the show, I just want to let you know that you can be a part of the conversations. Our Twitter handles will be showing on your screen at Sunrise CTV, at Yami_Otaigbe, at Neotaigbe. Just send your tweet, your comment, and if it's longer than 140 characters, send us a mail, sunrise@channelstv.com. And when the phone lines open, please call and keep it short. Over to you, Yami.
Yeah, last week, Nigeria's Minister of Finance said the country is technically in recession.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday this week, the Monetary Policy Committee increased the monetary policy rate by 200 basis points from 12% to 14%, explaining that this is to combat inflation and stimulate economic growth. The Central Bank Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, who announced the decision, said out of the 8 members, 5 voted in favor of monetary tightening, while the remaining 3 members voted to hold the rate at 12%. The committee, however, left the cash reserve ratio and the liquidity ratio unchanged at 22.5% and 30% respectively. What impact will these decisions have on the economy? To shed more light on the issue, we have in the studio this morning 2 gentlemen. Let me start with the economist, economic analyst, Mr. Oladotun Mabinuri. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, we also have a management consultant and policy analyst, Mr. Oji Udemezwe. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I understand we'll also have someone joining us from Abuja, Tope Faswa, but we'll get to him in a moment.
Let me start with Mr. Udemezwe. All of this MPR, cash reserve ratio, what is all of this first to explain to Nigerians, in very simple terms?
Okay. Basically, in every nation of the world, governments use 2 key policy instruments or sets of instruments to manage the economy, to influence the economy. One is fiscal policy. Fiscal policy has to do with government expenditure and the use of taxation to manage the economy, put money in the economy or remove money from the economy, depending on what we want to achieve, whether we want to expand the economy or to contract the economy. Put it in that simple form. We can talk more about this with time. Then on the other side, we have monetary policy tools. This one is basically handled by the central banks of the country. Any central bank, whether it's Bank of Ghana, the Central Bank of Nigeria, U.S. Federal Reserve Bank, and any central banks around the world also have the responsibility to manage the level of money supply in the economy, level of money in the system, in their own bid to also control inflation. Mind you, inflation control is one of the major or 5 major macroeconomic objectives of every nation. So in managing money supply, the central bank deploy different monetary policy tools. And that's where we have, let me just quickly mention about 5 of them that we use in Nigeria. One is the cash reserve requirement. What does that mean? It means that for the banking system, which by the way runs a fractional reserve system, for every depositors fund, any bank, commercial bank or deposit money bank, attracts in the system, they are required to reserve a certain percentage of that in their reserve account with the central bank. What does that do? It sterilizes the system of that amount of money, just to ensure, because banks are meant to be the intermediaries between the surplus sector and the sector in the economy. So when that happens, more money leaves the banking system and gets locked up in the central bank. Just a way to control the flow or the level of money in supply. That's one. So, and when that happens, it means that banks are stifled of funds immediately. They have to push money to CBN, and that's money they got from depositors to be able to use to lend. So when they have to push it to CBN, it means that they have less money to give out, less credit to give to manufacturers, and therefore the little they have, the cost of that will go up. Interest rate will go up. That's one. You also talk about the monetary policy rate. That's MPR, the one that was just touched a few days ago. That's the rate at which central bank lends to other banks as the lender of last resort. All right? That means if a bank needs money today, you go to CBN, they will lend to you at that 14%. It's also actually a benchmark rate in the money market generally, a rate through which central bank regulates, increases or reduces interest rates. And
okay.
Okay, you've really touched on a lot of all of the monetary policies, but let's just take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking more about how this affects every Nigerian. To stay with us on the program.